David Clyde made his start with Texas. He was 18 years and 2 months. And the 1-2 pitch, Kershaw's fastball got him swinging.
Sorry, let's fast forward a bit.
Out away. Call strike three. The Dodgers win. Finally, the wait is over.
Too much. Let's back up. Okay, now let's get started. So, are the Dodgers the next MLB dynasty? Well, let's start off with what makes a dynasty. Looking at just a few examples, we have the Showtime Lakers, Michael Jordan's Bulls, Joe Montana's 49ers, the Brady and Belichick Patriots, the 40s and 50s New York Yankees with 10 World Series wins in 2 decades, and of course the Big Red Machine, and that's just to name a few. But most of those teams are from a time well before the 2000s, with the exception of Brady's Pats, of course. But we're talking about the 2020s now. Sports have changed, and the probability of a dynasty in Major League Baseball has significantly diminished since the teams I previously listed were playing ball. Looking at some more recent baseball teams, we have the 96 to 2001 New York Yankees, who won 4 World Series in that time span, as well as the 2010 to 2014 San Francisco Giants, who won World Series on every even-numbered year in that time span. What these teams did was show us a couple different things. For starters, the new age of baseball made a dynasty much harder to come by because of the expansion of the playoffs as well as the expansion of the league as a whole in the last several decades. Free agency and the competitive balance efforts of the new CBA have also tried to even the playing field between larger and smaller market teams. The way the draft works now, along with the expansion of playoffs, makes it harder for large market teams to bully their way into a World Series every other year. But despite this, we have to know what would constitute the Dodgers as a dynasty. The definition of a dynasty in sports is a team that dominates their sport or league for an extended length of time. For starters, they would need a good farm system to mix well with being a big market, high-spending team, which we know the Dodgers are. You need to be able to pay for the World Series winning players with your wallet in free agency, as well as having a deep and star-studded farm system of younger, cheaper superstars to help stay under or just slightly over the luxury tax, while also giving you the flexibility of using those top prospects as trade chips to acquire other top talent from teams around the league. This gives you the perfect balance of youth and veterans, as well as the capability of building a championship squad without losing all of your owner's money over an extended period of time. Now we get to take a closer look at the Dodgers specifically. I believe before we can look at the Dodgers' future, we must look at their past. So we're going to start off with a dive into the last 8 years of Dodger baseball. As you can see, they finished first in the NL West and won their division every year from 2013 to 2020. In those playoffs, they lost in the division series 3 times, they lost in the NLCS twice, and lost the World Series in back-to-back years in 2017 and 2018. They finally got their World Series win in 2020 against the Tampa Bay Rays and captured the ring that had been eluding them for the last decade. This shows us the Dodgers have a history of being good. Not only have they been the best team in their division for the last 8 years, but they've been one of the best teams in baseball. Now that we looked at the Dodgers' recent history of winning, we can move on and look at the Dodgers now, looking at the 2 most crucial parts to starting and maintaining a dynasty in the 2020s. Those being a deep wallet and an amazing farm system. We can start off with the Dodgers' wallet. Their team value as of 2020 was $3.4 billion. That's second to only the New York Yankees at $5 billion. They also made $556 million in 2019 alone. So I think it's safe to say the Los Angeles Dodgers as a franchise are not hurting for money in any way, shape, or form. But looking at their farm system, I feel like a good way to show how deep they have been and how studly their superstars have been is looking at the top 100 prospects list for the last 5 seasons. Starting in 2017, they had 5 people on that list, and then moving on, they had 3 the next year, 4, followed by 5 in 2020, and then 2 this year. The only reason they are down to 2 this year is because so many of their young superstars have made their squad in the show and stayed there, being consistent and great at the game. So looking at the current state of the Los Angeles Dodgers, I think it's safe to say they're financially set. They may end up spending more than the 5 worst teams in baseball any given offseason. They have one of the best farm systems in all of baseball. They won the NL West the last 8 years, and they even got their championship rings in 2020. All that there is left to do is look ahead to the future in LA. So breaking down their team and going by their contracts, we can look at their superstars and how long they are guaranteed to be an LA Dodger for. Starting off with Mookie Betts at 12 years, $365 million, we all saw the contract. He won't be a free agent till 2033. So I think he is a safe bet to be on this team as long as the dynasty lasts. Moving on to Clayton Kershaw, one of their best pitchers who's been there the longest. He's a free agent in 2022. So this will be Kershaw's last year, barring any extension or anything else. Cody Bellinger, one of their younger, more talented players, the MVP of a few years ago, will be a free agent in 2024. It is coming up, but he has some time with the Dodgers. Corey Seeger, one of their best players in the 2020 COVID season, will be a free agent in 2022 to go along with Clayton Kershaw. Their big offseason acquisition in Trevor Bauer signed a 3-year, $102 million deal, so he will be off the books in 2024 with Cody Bellinger unless he uses one of his opt-outs any of the 3 years of his contract. Walker Buehler, who's arguably their best pitcher and one of the youngest players on their team, won't be a free agent till 2025, and he's currently on a 2-year, $8 million deal. So I don't think he's costing them too much money, and he'll be there for the next several seasons. Max Muncy's on a 3-year, $26 million deal, and he has a buyout option for a 4th year, so he will be there until 2023 or 2024. Justin Turner has the same buyout on a 2-year deal, so he will also be there till 2023 or 2024. Kenley Jansen will be gone in 2022. He has a 5-year, $80 million deal that's at the end of its lifespan. As well as David Price, who will be a free agent in 2023 after they picked up his contract from the Boston Red Sox. Julio Urias is one of their younger pitchers and was one of their best pitchers in the 2020 postseason. He will also be a free agent in 2024. But if you look ahead to their young stud superstars on this team, they have people waiting in the wings to step up and take some spots. Dustin May, catcher Will Smith, Gavin Lux, Edwin Rios, Brusdar Graterol, Tony Gonsolin, just to name a few. I think it would be safe to say that Corey Seager or Cody Bellinger will receive an extension from the Dodgers in the very near future, as well as starting pitcher Walker Buehler receiving an extension offer of his own in the next couple seasons. As we come to the end of our Dodgers dynasty discussion, I have one last factor I'd like to bring into the equation when it comes to sports dynasties, and that's luck. Every team needs it, not every team gets it, and when it comes to baseball, it can come in many shapes and forms, whether it's health or the streakiness of a team getting hot in the beginning of October. For the Dodgers, it seemed nowhere to be found in their back-to-back World Series losses, but perhaps they found it in 2020 when they finally got that ring. Either way, it is something that must be on their side, whether to keep their team healthy or to keep them trending in the right direction come playoff time. Okay, let me look at my checklist here. We have what makes a dynasty, the Dodgers' recent history, their money situation, their farm system, World Series, current and future contracts, anything else. I think that's it. I think I came to my conclusion, and I believe the Los Angeles Dodgers are currently a baseball dynasty. They are the next MLB dynasty, and I think they just have the perfect formula to do it. They have superstar power, they have the studded farm system, and they have money. There's nothing that can really stop them. They won't have to do a rebuild because they have the money to keep going. They have the farm system to where they won't run out of money and have to spend all of it on every single player in their lineup, rotation, and bullpen. The Dodgers are going to be doing this thing called winning for a while. So I guess we better get used to it. Thank you guys so much for watching my video on the Dodgers being the next MLB Dynasty. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.